If you're finding that your clients or customers are not taking any action whatsoever, there is this psychological loophole called the commitment and consistency principle, which actually drives people to take more action. And the commitment and consistency principle is essentially about identity. We've heard the word identity. My identity is right now is a person who's filming a YouTube video. And so I'm going to enable a bunch of qualities and traits in me to do that action. Identity is very powerful. You'll have heard people talk about how powerful it is, because when a person views themselves in a very specific way or a particular way, they have this tendency to act more like that. So for instance, if I was to view myself as a really productive person, and was to have this self-image in my head that I'm a really productive person, you might find that I do loads of actions to support that actual belief. So for instance, I might be planning my day. I might be working non-stop. I might be having this whole vision board of goals, objectives, because I'm a productive person. That's what productive people do. However, if I was to view myself as a lazy person, you might find that I'd struggle to get out of bed. I might snooze my alarm 10 different times. And when I get up, I might sit in front of the computer and not actually manage to press many keys at all. Now, a lot of people get stuck on this idea because they think the actions happen first, being a lazy person, then equals the person being lazy. But actually, behavioral science shows that you can change that and you can actually do that back to front. So if you place who you are as a person first, then the actions will actually follow afterwards. And there's lots of cool different studies on this. And I'm going to tell you in a minute exactly why this is relevant to your audience, to the people you're trying to sell to as well. If you can craft a specific need in a person that the identity that they have is tied to, then they're more likely to buy. You'll have went on probably a bunch of different marketing websites at this point, and marketing over the years has evolved quite a bit. It used to be really spammy. Today it's spammy in places, but it's a lot more subtle now. But I remember it back in the day, I used to go on websites and it would come up with a pop-up for some sort of free ebook that I could download, and it was like, do you want more income? And if you press yes, it comes up with an area for you to type your email address. If you press no, it's also got the subtext as well saying, I'm not the type of person who wants to grow my income. So that's a bit of a painful sting against someone's identity. So when I would read that, I'd be like, actually, I am an ambitious person, and so I actually don't really want to click that. Now, stuff like that I find doesn't really work in today's day and age because it's too overtly manipulative. There was this amazing study which took place in 1966, and essentially they had a bunch of people who went around door knocking on this estate. And when they went door knocking, they spoke to a bunch of people and they said, hey, would you mind putting a tiny little sticker in your window to say, please drive slowly, to remind everyone that's coming past to just drive slowly, watch the speed. And a certain number of people agreed to put that tiny little sticker in the window. And then about a month later, they went around again and they knocked on a bunch of different houses again in this same estate. And they said, hey, would you mind putting a big billboard outside saying, please drive carefully? And of course, that's quite a big ask. It's an ugly ask to have something like that in your garden, right? Not many people would go for that. And what they found is they did get turned down a lot. Not many people did want a huge billboard saying drive carefully in their garden. But what they found, which was really interesting, was that the people who said yes to a sticker and already had a sticker in their window were far more likely to basically agree to have that billboard sign in the garden as well. And the theory behind this is that a small ask can actually lead to a bigger ask. So to change somebody's identity and to make them agree with you on some sort of thing, or to get them to do something, you start with something small. Start with the sticker in the window saying, please drive carefully. And only then they might feel that they're comfortable putting a giant billboard in their garden. Really interesting stuff. It's particularly interesting because there's been other studies done as well where compliance rates shoot right up when a person is first asked, are you adventurous? So if a person goes along with the question and says an affirmative answer to the question of, are you adventurous? What happens then is the next request that comes along, they will more likely to agree to it. So for instance, if you have a customer base already or people who you think are going to be potential customers, it is more likely, if you think about these principles of small ask, big ask, small ask to set the identity, big ask to capitalize on the identity, it is more likely that a person, rather than purchasing your big sale outright, it is more likely that they will respond better to purchasing the big sale or agree to purchase the big sale further down the line if they are given a smaller sale first or something free where they've had to do. So this is where lead magnets come in, because if you think about it, something pops up on your website, a person has to make a commitment to enter their email address in the lead magnet for you to send them something, because that is a small commitment that they are interested in this route and that they have interest and that they have intent in this route or whatever route they're trying to get. And so from there, they are more likely to purchase the big thing later. Whereas if you were to cold call someone and to try and pitch them on something, they'd most likely say no. Same works, by the way, if you were to cold call someone rather than try and sell to them immediately, go for the smaller ask, which is, hey, you know what? Is it a good time to speak to you on Wednesday morning? Reset the appointment from there, because then you're going for the smaller ask, which will then lead to the bigger ask in the end. This is commitment and consistency principle. It has so much research. It is such an unbelievably powerful principle. If you can get people to make some sort of commitment, they are more likely to be consistent with that commitment later on, or consistent with the identity that commitment, initial commitment, has inferred or has suggested about the type of person they are. So a quick few ways that you can do this right now in your business. If you're on social media, you can give some sort of free value to your clients or customers, whatever it is, whatever you're selling. But I see this regularly. I'm sure you'll have seen it regularly. In the comment section, you can ask people to comment a specific word to receive the free piece of value from you. That is some form of gaining commitment from them. If you're on social media as well, you can ask them to like or comment on the video. If you are selling to people, you can ask them, are you interested in X? If your product is a business revenue growing product, you can ask them, are you interested in actually increasing your sales? I've got something nice I can send to you. Just by them agreeing to that, or even agreeing in their head, that could actually turn on the switch of identity there. But a lot of people just go straight to the ask first, or try and give the free value to someone without actually asking them if they're interested in it and setting that identity first. And this ends up, according to the research, costing them compliance further down the line. So a quick summary for this video: make a small ask always before you make the bigger ask, and set the identity first before you try and get the person to be consistent with that afterwards. Take care. See you in the next one.